Can you just tell us what is marketing?
Marketing is that, see, I'm a brand sitting in front of you.
How young marketers can build that brand love?
Brand love for me is it takes me to the brand Nike. When you have to inculcate the brand love, the first thought should be what is your core idea?
They have built out the trust among the audience and they have already have a distribution part.
I think the one person that I really found very witty and humorous is the Gen Z has a very short attention span. And that's where the Gen Z vibes a lot.
Can you just explain what is the plan beyond?
If your audience is not Gen Z, you may not go the creator way. You may go the partnerships and the B2B way. That reminds me of Mad Men and Suits. Who has not watched it on OTT? Is our family going to be aware once we are gone? This is the 3Ps journey that I want to leave as a message across. At the end of it, all the dots fall in place to make a perfect line.
Welcome to Beyond the Script, Priyanka.
Thank you so much, Ansh. I'm delighted.
How are you feeling today?
Very nice. It's a rainy, breezy morning. Totally refreshed.
You are living in Gurgaon, so rainy days are not very happy as usual. But it's glad today we do not get so much of interruption in between our journey.
True, true.
Priyanka, you were VP at BFSI. You had a very large career in corporate and all. So, and right now you have joined a startup and you're building it from scratch. This is a question and this is a curiousness and this is a doubt in everyone's brain. Like, why to left a corporate career where you are just getting above and above and getting into a startup, which is, nobody knows how it will be look like in next 5 years. So what's the reason behind joining a startup rather than, jumping the ladder in the corporate world?
Sure. So, see, the answer in my mind is very clear. Would you like to be a heroine in somebody else's story, or would you someday start your own story? I think that's where the thesis that falls behind my philosophy of choosing this path. I was not looking for my next job. I was looking for my next purpose. My ambition to really pick up a category creation sort of a challenge where I can make impact to Indian families. And I'm glad that Plan Beyond exactly offers that. That's where I made this movement.
Uh, Priyanka, now you are building the Plan Beyond, and you are a founding member of that. Coming from a whole corporate world to now uh, into the new startup world, which is very changing for you also. And I would also love to see how the whole corporate world marketing mind comes to a young startup and how the whole thing will build up. So, can you just explain what is the Plan Beyond?
Sure. Let me just take a step back to explain to you that how my journey looks like to me.
Yep.
I think at the end of it, all the dots fall in place to make a perfect line. And in my career, I was never a marketer. I started with finance, I did strategy, and then I chose marketing where I fell in love with. What it brought to me was an enterprise leadership, an end-to-end thinking, a big picture visualization, which I think that a usual marketer may not have an edge on so much. I think that is where it became my own moat, where I can see a business idea first and bring that business relevance back to my marketing hat and my creative thinking. That is where I think that is my biggest strength in terms of being a good marketer and coming at business backward. Now, why did I choose the Plan Beyond? The Plan Beyond is really a purpose. It is a bigger, larger narrative that gives me a problem, a challenge to solve for, and opportunity to create an impact in the lives of Indian families. And the gap that we observed was, that we as individuals are spending the whole of our lives in accumulating and preserving the assets, be it financial, be it our identity proofs, be it any sort of documents that we have in and around our finances for our family so that they are always secured. But in the process of that hustle, we forget to transmit those information, those rights, those access to our family. And that's where the entire bridge gets, disconnected and it gets broken. The dream that we envisage for our family never gets realized. Guess what? This is where the white space is. And I've seen this very closely in financial services categories We are protecting our future, we are securing by taking assets and investments. But is our family going to be aware once we are gone? Even when during our life,
Mm.
are we transmitting wisdom, guidance, emotional equity that, to our next generations is the question on the table. That, to my mind, is a white space, which is called family continuity. And we are bridging that gap. Now, if I were to give you a drill down on simple proof on what is family continuity, I see it into three parts.
Okay.
आपको पैसा चाहिए टू
Mhm.
लिव योर लाइफ, दिस इज कॉल्ड फाइनेंशियल कंटिन्यूटी. आपको उस पैसे को एक्सेस करने का इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए, दैट्स कॉल्ड इंफॉर्मेशनल कंटिन्यूटी. एंड आपको इमोशनल गाइडेंस एंड विजडम चाहिए, हैंड होल्डिंग चाहिए टू लीड दैट लाइफ वंस योर लव्ड वन एंड द ब्रेड अर्नर इज गॉन. That is where the wisdom and the emotional continuity gets established. This is the three-piece journey that I want to leave as a message across, which we are trying to build as a dream for the families.
I have a very basic question out there.
Sure.
Can you just tell us what is marketing?
Of course,
Yeah.
marketing is that, see, I'm a brand sitting in front of you. Who's
Hmm.
Priyanka Arora? Why does she even exist? What is her philosophy? What is her purpose? What is she wearing? How does she look like? What is her voice? What is her authentic self? What sort of products is she consuming? How does she feel, think, brings alive? And does she even connect with you as at a human truth level? And that is where you find that, what value will Priyanka as a brand bring to your life? That is what marketing is all and all about.
You have mentioned like it creates a brand love.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us like what is brand love according to you, and like how young marketers can build that brand love for their brand, and like for the customers, they will love the brand.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think brand love for me is, it takes me to the brand Nike.
Yeah.
For me, even in the boardrooms, I would never prefer big heels which make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Comfort always precedes style. And that's where Nike just connects with me very, very fondly. It just tells me the right level of confidence that I can carry to any boardroom, to any meeting, to any struggle of my life, with poise, with comfort, with my own authentic style. That is where I think brand love should connect to you as an individual and become part of your life.
Let's take an example of D2C brand. Okay, they are building a category into a D2C. Let's say a perfume brand. Okay, in a perfume brand, they want to create the brand love. How they can do it?
Sure. So I think in a perfume category, it's about the essence, it's about the fragrance that you have, it's about how do you differentiate, what is your moat, what sort of fragrance connects to your personality. These are basically the features. But then again, when you have to inculcate the brand love, the first thought should be, what is your core idea?
Okay.
Why are you even selling perfume? In which room and personality will it fit in? Is the competition already present in that space? How are you going to differentiate yourself? And then comes your communication philosophy in terms of, what's the look and feel of that product? How do you really market it? And what sort of consumers will be your end users? I think that's the journey that brand love really entails, starting from identifying what is the gap, what is the white space where the competition is already present, what sort of human truth that you solve for, and then solving and connecting with the personality of the end user. Will you find your place in the life of the end user is the question that we need to answer.
I mean, finding a place into the life of the users. I mean, this is one of the important thing for any brand to go forward, because I think when you find that place into someone's life, you become a part of their life, and then you become a part, and your journey will become very, very connected with the users.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a very important part that I also look in my company also, like when we built out Quick Reel, and we also wanted to be a part of a creator's journey.
Sure.
So that creates a unmemorable, or I mean unforgettable, the correct word would be unforgettable thing. How someone can build out that, like be a part of their life.
I think it's about identifying the right opportunity
Yeah.
where the gap of the consumer's life is, and then putting a solution very subtly by saying that, okay, don't leave your worries to me, I will take care of this problem of yours. In a very hustle mode of life that we are all living in, If somebody is owning up and coming up proactively to say that, okay, leave your worries and I will solve this for you, that is where you connect. That is where the brand becomes very subtly a part of your life and is not enforced via ads, via bombarding of content that comes these days in many many formats.
Priyanka, like there are the two type of different marketings out there. I mean, there are the multiple different marketing out there, but the bigger people like talk about is like one is performance marketing where you put ads and get the ROI of it, and the second is like brand marketing where you do not see a ROI directly. How do you define both of them? And like which is very very important. How should a brand should approach towards both of them?
Hmm.
So would love to know that.
Sure. I think, Ansh, that's a very, very valid question. And I've seen founders really burning hands in terms of not choosing the right path. To me, jumping onto performance is a trap where you will fall, where you will get the preliminary growth. You will be able to get some numbers and see some progress, but that would be short lived. Once that initial, the initial curve of scale is over, what will you do next? Will people remember you? That's the question which brings us back to thinking that why should people remember you in the first place? And that's where, the realization that brand building, having a brand identity, a core idea, a messaging, a positioning around what are you, why do you even exist, how are you going to communicate, what problem do you solve for in your consumer's life is very, very essential. Without those elements, jumping the gun and going into performance and doing ads can be a counterintuitive strategy in my understanding, because it can fire for only some time, but it will be having a short expiry period, and then coming back is going to be hazardous.
Priyanka, you are in marketing since last 17 years, and like this is the age of a lot of marketers right now. A lot of marketers in the
Sure.
industries are of 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old. I'm also not that like elder, so like half of my age, you have already started the marketing journey. I just I just would love to know like when you started out, the whole industry would very different. Like I know earlier TV ads were very big. Like people were not skipping those ads, watching those ads because they have to do it. Right now, if you compare it with YouTube, you can skip the ad or you can just buy a YouTube Premium. So the whole ad industry or so the whole marketing industry have changed a lot. Would love to know like how the industry have changed according to you, and like what will be the next future in the next 1 to 2 years.
Sure. I think that reminds me of Mad Men and Suits. Who
Mhm.
has not watched it on OTT?
Yeah.
That was our first impression when as a youngster, we saw the dream of marketing.
Yeah.
We all thought that this is about the world of glory advertisements, big picture thinking. We all thought it is very big on TV, and that's what marketing meant to all of us.
Yeah.
That's the dream we started with. And of course, my journey also started from that dream itself. But then I saw the evolution of marketing happening throughout my career. Marketing is very commonsensical. It may start with, a vision of a big, glorious ad. But right now, the way it is changing is posters have translated to digital economy. The kind of advertisements that you do on TV, on billboards, now that has evolved to digital medium. So you really have to find a space in the life of your consumer, of your end user. Brands are fighting for mind space. Where is that mind space that you can draw where you become part of the consumer's life? That is where relevance needs to be seated in. You have to be part of the daily ritual. You have to live, breathe, and be very socially applicable to the consumer, to feel happy about, to feel connected with, to share your name along, to experience you while he is living his daily routine, to be happy and proud to share it with his friends that, oh, I'm consuming this brand. Of late on social media, on LinkedIn, I put a post about a brand called Surma. And they just give cotton attire, which is very breathable, which is very livable, and just suits my personality. I never knew that one attire that I picked up will become part of my identity. That is what brand love is. That is how marketing has evolved from TV ads to nowadays attention economy to nowadays the creator world that is really catching the eye.
So I mean, Priyanka, one of the trend I'm seeing right now on like whole content space or a whole marketing space is like YouTube creators or content creators are becoming a very huge part of any marketing spend of any company.
Sure.
And the reason is because like they have built out the trust among the audience and they have already have a distribution part. Where I see a lot of brand right now do not own the distribution. This is a very challenging part also. And also like they rent the audience in the sense like I pay some amount of money that put that amount in some campaign, and that campaign give me the returns. So what do you think like I mean, I can give you an example. uh, Physics Wala have created a whole category on the YouTube. He have built out his YouTube channel,
Yeah.
build out a distribution, and build a $1 billion company on the top of it. Another example is Mr. Beast. He have built out Feastable.
Yeah.
He have first out built out his distribution, and then built out in a category which is very very hard to crack, which is like a years and years of Cadbury legacy out there. So what do you think in the next 5 to 10 years, or let's say in next 3 to 5 years, how the brand is adapting this culture of rather than renting the audience is like owning the audience, like building the whole cult out there. And some of the example of the brand that you know, like they are doing it.
Sure. So I think in this, the differentiation comes from basically the TG. And since we see that most of these D2C brands who are using the creator economy or leveraging in that sense have Gen Z as their consumer base. Now, the issue with the Gen Z or their different, how their identity is different from the earlier age users is that Gen Z has a very short attention span. They consume a lot more video than the static life that we have been leading in our earlier days. Video, reels, shorts, all short form content, the shorties are way and parcel, part and parcel of their lives. So, hence, creator economy, of course, brings in a flavor of more authenticity, a more real life than doing celeb endorsements, and hence they connect better. And these days, brands not only are using the creator economy, they are creating communities around it. There is a way to leverage a creator. Either a creator can be your ambassador and he's doing videos and video content for you standalone, which I think is even more has can be evolved even further when you can get the creator to be part of your moments and milestones. When he's living and breathing the brand along with you. When his ethos of his personality also blend into the philosophy of your brand and you are able to leverage him well. For example, if Axis Max Life Insurance has taken Rohit Sharma as the brand ambassador, there is a reason, there is a philosophy why the values of Rohit Sharma blend into Axis Max Life Insurance's way of thinking. Similarly, when you pick up an influencer, you really have to see what is his personality, does it blend into the product, and what is his way of interacting across his community. And that's where the Gen Z vibes a lot. So, to your coming back to your question of whether this is owning distribution versus renting distribution, I think the bigger part that is being missed is authenticity. If the creator is authentically related and connected to your brand, it will work wonders. Renting and owning really doesn't make a difference. The right collaboration opportunity is what is meaningful. Authenticity has to be there in terms of the right connection. And I think that's just a way of connecting to the right audience. If your audience is not Gen Z, you may not go the creator way. You may go the partnerships and the B2B way. Like our business model is very different. We do not rely a lot on the creator economy because we are building a trust architecture in our category. And trust architecture needs to have a solid foundation around safety, security, about the licensing bit, about the regulations, which apply more in our category.
Yeah, you are right, but I have a little contradiction out here. I have seen into the last 1 year, like a lot of banks, let's say HDFC, let's say Kotak, they have done a huge campaign and they have invested much more their capital into the creator aspects rather than like the whole traditional marketing which was going on.
Sure.
I agree with your point, like the creators are more connected with Gen Z and all, but like they are gonna be the, I mean, user for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and we are also in a country where the much more population is of like young age millennials and Gen Z,
Yeah.
so they are much more able to connect. So what's your take on that? Like, why these brands are spending much more? Uh,
I'll tell you why.
yeah.
In my perspective, banking as a solution in itself is seeing its expiry date.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to visit a bank, nobody wants to physically visit a branch and do
Hmm.
transactions. And hence, banks are looking at it as a future threat in terms of who's going to be their user base.
Yeah.
Now, so in the Gen Z of today is
Hmm.
going to become the workforce of the future. In the next 10 years, we will see that the population in the
Hmm.
age group of 30 to 40 years is
Yeah.
going to double, more than double. And that's where, bank is seeing it as an opportunity to start early, start seeding
Yeah.
this generation, and make them accustomed to the new user base that they are hunting in the market. Nobody wants to go to the branches now. Banking is also evolving into digital ways of transacting. It's all app based. It is more than going to the bank. It is bringing, the bank to your fingertips. That's the proposition that each and every bank is now really seeding in. And hence, starting early gives them an edge to prepare this future generation, seed the idea of banking, of course, bring a financial discipline and responsibility or towards savings, towards investments, towards being aware and being responsible for the money that they are going to earn, and of course, whatever they are taking from their parents, to spend it responsibly. It's all about leveraging this creator economy to really prep this future generation as the user of banking, as banking sees its own evolution.
Priyanka, like you have already spent 17 years into this whole industry of marketing, and you must have met some crazy people out there. I'm very interested to know, like, who is the most impressive person you have ever met?
There are many that come to mind, but I think the one person that I really found very witty and humorous is Shantanu Deshpande.
Okay.
He is the founder of Bombay Shaving Company, and his work, his thinking, his perception, his perspective about marketing is really something that stands out for me. And that's one brand that I follow very closely. Not because I have men at home who don't do beard so often, but yeah, because he has a very very witty way of putting the brand across and making the connection with the end users.
And what are the best piece of advice you have ever got?
Hmm. The best piece of advice I think that I've ever got is always to bring out the best version of myself. It's not to get satiated with the glory that I created, but to start afresh every morning and start from the beginning. I think the advice that came my way was that not to compete and fall in the rat race and really get into the loop of the rat race, but to look at it that how do I create myself as a better version day by day and every morning. I think that's the advice that I live with, and I really believe in it.
What's plan beyond life?
So, Plan Beyond is a startup, and we are building a new category which is called family continuity. What it means is that throughout our life, we are creating, accumulating assets for our loved ones. But what we miss in the picture is telling them about it, transmitting the information that can bring access of those assets to those family members. And hence, we see there is a lag, there is a drainage, there is an information gap which makes them not being able to realize those assets when they are required. This is the gap that we are bridging, and this is what we call that continuity which every Indian family truly deserves.
Priyanka, let's say you have like all of your interviews, all of your articles, everything will be raised from the internet, and you have the next 60 seconds to leave something for this world, and majorly for the young people out there, young marketer out there. What would you love to leave behind?
In this, I think the biggest discovery that I've done to myself and the biggest favor that I've done to myself is to believe in my authentic self, find my voice, and always raise it in the right forums. It's very, very important to market your true self and bring your brand out and establish that connection at the human level where you can really say why Priyanka mattered. That's,
Hmm.
I think, is the biggest thing that and the message that I would leave behind.
So Priyanka, we are just coming to the end of this podcast, and one of the like important segment that I want to do it for, I mean, do it with you, is like rapid fire. I
Sure.
will just ask some question very, very fast,
That's
and you have to
exciting.
answer like very, very fast. Brand marketing versus performance marketing.
Both.
But still, you cannot. What do
uh,
you love most? Where do you think like the brand make most
Brand.
brand? One career advice for young marketers.
Be very authentic.
Like, which is the one of the most underrated brand? Do you think?
Maybe Chayos.
Why?
Very massy and very good premium tea as per me, as per my
Okay,
liking, but not really branded well.
okay, okay. Uh, One of the biggest mistake that young founders make or a young marketer make.
Um, eh, Going behind, spending a lot of money, burning the monies in performance, and not building the brand.
Makes sense. Thank you, Priyanka, for coming on the Beyond the Script. I think this was a great, great, great learning podcast for a young founders, and they have learned a lot from a person who is coming from a 17 year of experience from a corporate world to now building into the startup world. So I think a lot of people right now want to change that thing. So they will get inspired. They will learn like how they can do it, like how to do it. So that would be great for them. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. I think even if one person gets inspired to
Yeah.
think non-linear and choose this disruptive path, my
Yeah.
purpose is solved. And my only inspiration of choosing this path is to go disruptive, to listen to the calling of my heart, and to pick up a challenge which discomforted me.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Ansh, for having me on the podcast.